we have our suspension fully decoupled and delinked. Let's see how smooth these stanchions are. I'm going to loosen the motor bolts and see what happens because it's stiff. I'm just cracking these motor bolts a quarter of a turn to loosen them, and we'll see how it feels. Now for the other side, quarter, about a quarter. Can't do this one unless I move the cable, and that'll take longer. Immediately something I notice is the bowing from the bolts being over tight because aluminium is so soft. Let's take a look at the other side. Suspension is quite seized and I cannot get it smooth. And these bolts are loose. And also, I can't move this. Oh, bit stiff. So we had to pull the pedal hangers off to figure out why it wasn't working. Now, when I grab, we got some good smooth movement. Now what's happening, we believe, is these pedal hangers, the pole goes in here, and these are just a massive G-clamp. So when these sit on here, they just slide straight on. As soon as you tighten these bolts, it crushes the pole from round to oblong. The pedal hanger and tighten the G-clamp, and now when we move the suspension, I can't get it down. Oh, it's so stiff. Loosen these bolts. Should be enough. We've taken the stanchion out, and this is the bottom side because I've got a B on it. Very smooth movement all the way through, which is great. Now I'm going to put the pedal hanger on the bottom and see how far this goes down and how smooth it is, because this is very smooth. Okay, so we've just tightened this bolt. This bolt doesn't do much, it just becomes an end stop to stop the hanger falling off, and then these bolts clamp onto the pole. Now the gap in here is a little bit different, but what we're going to notice is, with my bushing, as we get down closer, it gets quite stiff. I'm pushing harder. And it doesn't fall off. Well, it's really hard to grip and move. It's not too bad. Loosen these bolts. And this will change the deformation of the hanger. So now this hanger is loose. And now it's super loose. Amazing. So now I've got this tight, these bolts are tight, there's no twist movement, very smooth, still grabs a bit until it comes looser, and the way that I was able to do this is you can just see I've got a 0.3mm shim on that side and a 0.3mm shim on this side. And the other way would be for this to be a little bit thicker, but that 0.3mm washer is working. It's for a 5mm bolt, and you can't put a 6mm one in there because we've got a recess cut out on here. It's a bit of a bummer, but just wedging it in there works out really good. As we tighten these, the suspension is getting stiffer. I can move this. It's still quite stiff because the bushings are new, but as I tighten this, that's pretty tight. I can't move it. Oh. So I think these are just a bit too narrow. Got some copper shim that I can wrap around and feed up in here, and hopefully that'll give us enough spacing. So I've got this copper shim, just roll it around, insert it in, push it up, probably just below the top hole. Now we can get this, and hopefully this will insert in. Not much, just a little bit. So just wedging this open a bit, I'm able to push it up. Just got to knock it in the last few mil and figure out that hole. Okay, we've got these in, but we've got to have these bolts up here loose for this to be able to slide pretty smooth. Because if these bottom clamps are too tight, it becomes elliptical. We have issues, and if the top ones are too tight, it pulls them in and becomes elliptical as well. The bushings here, and it gets too elliptical. I really want to try 3mm ones so the clamping doesn't distort the stanchions. At the moment it's very loose, so these have got twist, but we are mitigated by the bolt at the top. It's taken me a long time to get here, but what we can see, we can hold the machine, roll and roll, and I got full movement. As soon as I put the bushing on this side, it changes all the geometry, and what we'll see is it no longer rolls. As soon as I take this out, it rolls. So I've got to sand this down until it drops straight in, and it's only a smidge.